In this video, we're going to be working on a 2014 MacBook Air 13-inch that came in for what the customer said, nothing is coming on the screen, no display. You turn the computer on, it chimes, but nothing is showing on the screen. The truth is, an image is appearing on the screen, but it's extremely dim. And that tells us that we have a backlight issue. So the screen is not receiving the proper voltage to turn the backlight on. And that's the reason why it appears that the screen is not on. So what I want to do is check the LVDS connector area of the board. That's the first thing I want to do right here. And right now I have a Barlow lens on because I was working on a 27-inch 2010 iMac, changing the LVDS connector. And that connector is super big, so you cannot see the whole thing under the microscope. So I use a Barlow lens. And the Barlow lens will let you see a bigger area on the board. Right now we do not need to see a bigger area, so we go back to our normal lens here. No Barlow lens. And let's check the LVDS connector area of the board. What I want to do is test the backlight fuse here to see if it's good. And backlight fuse is good. Everything here looks good. LVDS connector looks good. The coil, the diode, capacitors, everything is looking good on this side of the board. Now what else deals with the backlight circuit of this MacBook? Let's flip the board. And we should have a chip known by LP8550 located right over here. Look at that. The chip is bombarded with corrosion. How? What caused this chip to be like that? We do not see any signs of liquid damage. The board looks clean. It's very common for that chip to develop corrosion. I see it very often. What causes that? I do not know. I do not know. So right now, if you look at the board diagram, this is a BGA chip, and pin number 1 is on the bottom left. I just want to quickly mention that the Amtech 559 Flux is back in stock. We just got the shipment today. We've been out of stock for the past couple of days. We have a huge batch of the Flux in stock. And the nice thing is this is the freshest Flux in the market. This is the absolute freshest Flux in the market. Expiration date on this is October 7, 2021. And the expiration date is usually 1 year from the time the Flux was made. While the expiration date may not mean much, you can still use the Flux after 2 years, after 3 years. Although the Flux will become thicker, more gooey, and more viscous, the effect may not be as good, but you can still use the Flux after the expiration date. But as of now, the make of the Flux is October 7. So this is the absolute freshest Flux in the market. For those waiting to order the Flux, it will go back in stock later today or tomorrow. And of course, you can check it out on NorthridgeFix.com, click on shop, or just search for Amtech 559. A lot of inquiries to when the Flux will be back in stock, even though I haven't mentioned that we are expecting a shipment on 10/20. Here, if you go to the search area of the site or even click on shop, you can search 559 and right over here. Now, one change that will happen is the price is going to be $17.99 instead of $15.95. Amtech is forcing us to sell the Flux at $17.99. Amtech want to make their prices standard. They do not want their prices to be cheaper at one vendor and more expensive at another vendor. They want their prices to be standard. So we are forced to sell the item at $17.99. Now, by default, Amtech Flux comes in a syringe like this. It does not come with the plunger. You have to pay $2 more or even more money to get the plunger. What I'm going to do is include the plunger at no extra charge. And we're going to also include 2 size needles that you can hook up to the syringe here, like the needle that I use here, the orange one, and we also have the black one, which is the smaller size needle. So those will be included with the Flux at no extra charge, and the item should be back in stock later today. If not today, then you can check tomorrow. So back to the repair. Look at this. Look at all the gooey stuff under the VGA chip. No wonder there's no backlight. Now let's get rid of the glare. Just like that. Heads are strong on this area of the board, so we do not need to use our hot tweezers and the wick. We're just gonna wick those solder balls off. Okay. Right over here, and pin number 1 should be on the bottom left. Just like that. Just align the chip in place like this. I'm gonna hold it and heat it up with our hot air station. Just for about 5, 6, 7 seconds. Let go. Now we're gonna reflow it down in place. We may see it shift and move. Just like that. Job is done. How do we know that the chip's soldered on correctly? When you tap it, it should pull back. That's how you know. And we can also double check like this. Look at the solder balls. Perfect. Okay, very nice. I had to talk with this customer who brought in an iPad 12.9 2nd gen, and there's a problem with booting. Okay, so the board is done. I'm gonna give it to Big Boss to reassemble and test, but I just wanna quickly go over cleaning this area of the board. We're gonna use this side of the brush, alcohol, and we're gonna be using the dry wipe. A lot of people ask me what kind of wipes you're using. It's Amtech. You can find it on Amazon or eBay. And I dip the brush in alcohol and I brush over the dry wipe. What's gonna happen is flux is gonna get stuck on the dry wipe and it's gonna clean the board. I have several cameras that I need to set up. I do have a camera here, but it's not connected. I want it to point down on the bench so you can see what I'm doing. But every day I say tomorrow. Every day I say tomorrow. And I also need to put a camera where Big Boss is sitting in the other room. He used to sit in the same room here before we got the other shop, but now he's always in the other shop because we have a lot of benches and a lot of room to work. All right. The chip is soldered right over here, and I'll be back. Hello, hello. Big Boss just reassembled the board, and he did verify that it's working, but I want to show it on camera as well. He did not reassemble a lot of the cables here, but he did put the screen, the battery, the keyboard, power on, fan is spinning. We see the backlight, and the laptop is working. Awesome, awesome, great. Okay. Gonna give it to Big Boss to finish reassembling the MacBook. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll do something else in the next video.